Hi, I'm Jennifer Aguirre, joined by Zachary Tucker from the Golden State Warriors. Thank you for being here.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Would you be able to provide a brief summary of your current role and primary responsibilities with the Warriors?
Sure. So I work in the finance department with the Warriors, and the finance department for a sports team is typically split in half. You've got like an accounting department, and you've got what's called FP&A, which is financial planning and analysis. And they kind of come together and work together to create the finance department and accomplish everything that a finance department would try to do. I work as a senior analyst on the FP&A team. So my main objective is really to oversee forecasting, budgeting, and just performance of profitability for the Chase Center and like all the events. So basketball games, concerts, private events, for activating the plaza, but also we have retail space for restaurants and, Nike store, something like that, where we'd like to bring people to Chase Center. So I'll work on some of like those deals and see if they're doable. And then at the same time, new arms of the business. If we're trying to acquire a company or kind of expand our business, I'll work with different business partners and see if that's like a good move for us based on like profitability and the way the company is shaking out.
Going off of that, are there any key lessons you've learned from working in the sports industry?
Yeah, I wrote a couple of these down. So the first one that comes to mind is like hard work. It's like, and I know it's kind of cliche, but in the sports world, that's what's going to set you apart from basically everyone else, and why people go into sports and succeed versus while they'll go in for like a year and then they'll go move off and do something else. It's a lot of work. There's sacrifices involved, whether it's time, money, time spent with your family, location, because the new opportunities are not always where you want to be. So I know those kind of sound negative, but at the same time, they're really good lessons to learn. But on top of that, get to know as many people as possible. I think networking in sports is almost more important than being really good at your job, because it's that world is so important with connections, and that almost moves quicker if you're looking at new opportunities. And then finally, if you're trying to stay in the top as a company in sports, just constantly be innovating, because there's always new technology coming out, whether it's related to tickets or fan experience or arena management, venue management. Like, always be reading about tech and trying to innovate as a company.
Going off of that again, considering how difficult it is in the sports industry, do you have one or two accomplishments you're most proud of?
Yeah, so I started my career in Memphis, but then I quickly moved to Sacramento with the Kings, and we opened up Chase Center in 2016, and opening up that new arena for the city and for the fans was probably the coolest thing that I've done. The thing I'm most proud of. And then hosting Paul McCartney as the first concert, and just that first season, those fans are amazing. But then this year, specifically with COVID, getting through COVID as an organization and working through a lot of like the financial implications for the company, keeping people employed, making sure we stayed afloat, and then bringing back fans to games at the tail end of the season was amazing. It was just like something you'll never think you would do in your career. And you got to tip your cap to everyone who is involved.
Considering you've been a part of a few sports teams, do you have any advice for students or young professionals looking to get into a similar field?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they're like, I want to be the GM of the team when they first start. And my advice is like, don't have that mindset, because you're gonna get upset when you try to break in and you realize you're starting, towards the bottom. Like, you need to work, you need to network. It's really important, but like you can get there, but you just need to follow the path and don't get discouraged just from what you think you need to be like a 35-year-old GM. It's a really tough road. But at the same time, it's fun, it's exciting, it's challenging, it's rewarding. Like, enjoy I would say if you get into it, make sure you enjoy why you're doing it, even if it's hard. Just take a step back and say, this is really cool. I'm working in a industry that I love, and even though it's hard work, I don't let that get to me. Also, it's very easy to change areas or like the concentration of where you're working. So you might start in marketing, but it's very easy to pivot to like public relations or any like not necessarily legal, but maybe ticket sales. Like it's all about asking the right questions of people, talking to them, getting to know them, taking on opportunities. It's very possible to migrate and move around. And finally, teamwork online on the internet is a great tool. Make sure you use it because everything's posted there. People do check it, but also at the same time, you can differentiate yourself by reaching out directly to people on LinkedIn, sending letters, sending emails. Always try to make yourself unique in the application pool.
Thank you so much for being here and giving some advice and sharing your sports career journey.
Of course, it was a pleasure. Great to meet you.